Thanks, Hazel. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Quarter-final time here on day 5 at the PokerStars.com Masters Snooker Tournament, live and exclusive here in the Wembley Arena. Two players of absolute quality waiting backstage. Between them, they've appeared in 5 World Championship finals, and tonight's winner will face the Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan in Saturday's semi-final. Let's find out which of them it will be. Introducing first of all then, one of the most decorated Welsh players ever to grace the game, making his 10th appearance in a Masters quarter-final. Here after victory over Whiplash and Ali Carter in round 1. Twice a Masters champion, twice a world champion. He's the Welsh potting machine. He's Mark Williams. And his opponent, a class act on and off the bays. Here after victory over Stephen Hendry in round 1. Bidding for his first appearance in a Masters semi-final. The 2005 World Champion, the 2008 UK Champion. He's the pride of Earthlingborough. He's the magician. He's Shaun Murphy.
In which these players have faced one another. And it's commentary eyes down in the box as we say good evening to Ken Doherty and Willie Thorne.
Good evening, Hazel. Good evening, everybody. To have the pleasure of watching two former world champions play over best of 11 frames is something to be savoured. It's a tough one to call, this one. If it wasn't for Mark's whiplash that he's been suffering, I think this would have been virtually even money to 2. Obviously, Murphy's slight favourite. Tough one to call, Ken.
Yes, very tough one to call. But I did speak to Mark earlier in the practice room, and he said he's feeling much better. So I think he probably preferred to not feel so well because he played so well against Ali Carter. He said he'd probably go out and play rubbish tonight now because he's feeling so much better. But anyway, he played really well in his first match against Rory McLeod and indeed against Ali Carter. But Shaun Murphy had that tremendous match against Stephen Hendry as well. So great to see both players in good form.
He used to kiss the red, and it has done. So good opening red from Shaun. A lot of people said the O'Sullivan and Robertson game was the best game of the tournament so far. I thought the Hendry-Murphy game was. I thought that both players played fabulous in that match. I thought Stephen Hendry was very unlucky to find somebody playing so well.
Yes, good opening red from Shaun Murphy. Mark Williams won't be too pleased with his break off, though, that's for sure. Well, he split them beautifully. A little bit unlucky on the kiss, but he's okay. Red over the middle pocket. And I think he's got just enough angle to get back on the black here. There you see the split. Very nice. Not quite sure where he can just to stun it in, just to force a little bit of the angle, but no, it looks like he can play a plain ball.
9.
These reds are beautifully situated, it has to be said. I know it's early days, Willie, but this will be 2 reds, 2 blacks.
Yeah, 140 is the highest break, which is going to be tough to beat. But this is the situation where the ball's in this position where you can suggest that somebody's going to beat it. I know what you're saying, Ken, but the 2 reds on the right-hand side, I want to... Definitely wouldn't fancy a maximum from here, nor would Shaun. I would imagine he'd just like to get 75 or above.
Yes, I think, you know, once they get past the stage where they've won the frame, then they can concentrate, even if those 2 reds may cause a problem.
This is interesting here. The shot is just to play the little cannon up into the red and the pink, just purely for holding purposes, and that's... Shaun Murphy is definitely one of the best break builders in the game, and he sees every opportunity to bring things in play, and unfortunately for him, it's just not quite worked right there.
24.
A lot of players there would have said, well, there's lots of loose reds, I'll play for them, but sort of, and just to slow the white down, that's all he was doing it for.
Oh, he's got a heavy contact there, and that's a little bit unlucky.
25.
He's okay, but he got a massive kick there. Just took all the pace out of the cue ball. Just watch this.
Do you think when you're queuing down on them, Ken, that the white's already bouncing sometimes?
Sometimes that can happen, yeah, but we've never really come up with an answer about bad contacts and kicks, have we?
Because, I mean, it would still make that bouncing thing if he was queuing down it. So sometimes, I mean, that may not have been a kick. It may have just been the fact that the white was bouncing anyway.
Yeah.
32.
Would have liked to be in a little bit closer to this red. These are tricky.
$33.
Safely in. This will be 5 reds, 5 blacks. May play a little cannon just in those 2 reds, just to the right of the pink spot here. Just hold again. And that's perfect. Would like to be in a little bit straighter on this red, but he's okay.
40.
Now we'll certainly know from this shot whether he wants to go for all blacks. He could easily pot this red and take the pink into the right centre, but this will tell us whether the maximum has crossed his mind or not. I think it's worth having a go from here, Willie. Certainly, they're all there.
Yes, I think he'll definitely have a go now. Now he's got this far. I mean, if the pink could have been slightly tied up, I would have said he was certain to have a go, but he may feel that if he doesn't get in a position where he's certain to get on blacks, he may decide to take the pink.
48.
Well, that shot tells me he's now definitely going for the maximum. He could have stunned that in a lot easier for the pink in the middle. So now he's decided that he is going for it.
It's okay. Just came far enough.
56.
Nice and straight on this red. Just drop it in.
The work starts now because it's getting more and more difficult now to get an angle on a red to be able to get back on the black. Pretty soon he'll want to play a cannon onto one of the ones on the cushion where he's still got options, but he's running out of options at the minute.
No.
Shaun Murphy. 57.
It's not enough. 57.
One. Eight. Nine. $15. 16. 22. 23.
I know my brother Malcolm, we were watching this evening at his home, he's did an awful lot for the amateur game, looked after Mark Selby for many, many years, and he's just unfortunately been diagnosed with cancer and had his first session of chemotherapy just a couple of days ago.
29.
I know that everybody involved in snooker will wish him the best of luck. All the snooker players know Malcolm, and from the club at Leicester, and we all love you, brother. Keep watching and keep battling.
30.
Yes, well said, Willie. All the players are thinking about you, Malcolm. Wish you all the best in your recovery. In the meantime, Mark Williams is making a good recovery in this
36.
frame. If he can get, when he puts this red, he can track either pink or black here, whichever his preference. But
37.
that red is just, well, it looks a bit straight on the pink. Would have loved to have a little bit of an angle, but that red is just far enough off the cushion to get behind it. But have to take it from distance here. May have to use the rest.
It was a very careless shot on the red, wasn't it? Not to get a better angle on the pink.
43.
Even if he pots this, he'll do well to get an easy angle on pink or black to get up for the yellow. This is just about the worst position he could finish on this red.
Yes, and just telling from his facial expressions, it looks to be almost dead straight. Would have loved to have a little bit of an angle to either stun off the cushion or stun it off just out a little bit off the cushion to get on the black or pink. So a little bit more difficult, the fact that this is dead straight. And there you see it. Has he fluked it? Has he fluked it? Ooh.
Mark Williams, 43.
See, the bad shot just shows you play one bad shot, Ken. The red in the middle to get onto the previous pink. You've got to leave an angle on the pink. You know, he left himself in the worst possible position, and that was really tough to play. Don't blame him for trying to go off a blue there, because the angle he would have left himself on black and pink would have been very difficult. Shaun would just be screwing back 2 or 3 inches for choice of pink or black.
One.
He's blessed with a wonderful cue action, as you saw there. Hit that not particularly hard at distance and still managed to screw back some 2 or 3 feet. And this is the key shot. Gets on the yellow. It's frame over.
Eight. Ten.
Seen a couple of these greens missed this week, haven't we? Stephen Hendry missed one. Shaun potted it straight in the heart of the pocket, and it was frame ball.
$17.
Well, he'd be disappointed not to have had a better crack at the 147, having broke down on 57, but all of a sudden he'll be delighted because 57 was by no means going to be a frame winner.
28.
And
The first frame.
he'd managed to get another chance, so 57 and 28. Mark Williams had half a chance to get back into it, but Shaun Murphy looking very sharp. And he takes the opening frame.
Well, this is the 4th meeting between these men, and at the moment it's Shaun Murphy who has a 2-1 advantage. But significantly, Steve, they've never met beyond a best-of-9 match. And I suppose it is strange that they've only met 3 times before, particularly considering they've been around the block a couple of times, both of them.
Yes, and certainly both, world champions and also very strong players that have appeared in the final stages of events. Obviously, as was mentioned in that interview, Shaun sort of was too young when Mark was at his peak, but you'd think they'd have crossed. Mark went through a bit of a slump, so perhaps they haven't played as much. From Mark Williams' perspective, his peak 2000, 2003, around there. 7 years on in snooker, it's been a subtle but dramatic change in the game, I think. The standard of play amongst all of the players is better. So therefore, for Mark Williams to get back to his brilliant best winning ways, winning wise as well, perhaps he's got to perform even better himself to actually guarantee to win, because there are so many good players around.
So you think even when Mark was sweeping all before him, he was winning all of our tournaments in 1 year, he was winning the world title for a second time? Incredible. Do you think that the game's moved on even more?
Well, I think the game has moved on, and I'm not trying to be funny here, because it's an interesting thing. In the commentary box now, I think that commentary has become more critical in a positive way, and people are being picked up on wrong positional shots. Willie Thorne's been one of the instigators in trying to tell people what the right shot is at home, and I think all players have become much more aware of positional play and how's the best way to go about it on these new superfine cloths. And I think we've all been educated by each other within the game, and we've got a stronger performance because of it.
Willie, constructive criticism?
Well, if only he'd listened to me, Steve Davis, he would still be one of the top 8 players in the world. He's so negative, Hazel. Never goes into the pack early enough. But it is true. I mean, we're blessed, really, to have people like Stephen Hendry and Ronnie O'Sullivan who undoubtedly, they never, ever play the wrong shot in break building. So you get to know what the right shot is and when they should go into and when they shouldn't. And there's so many great players now that obviously don't watch them often enough to realise. And it's great to watch all these players go about it in different ways, but you get to know what is the right way and the wrong way.
One.
Well, this is Hawkeye's position. You see, he's the wrong side of the blue, so he's taking the brown. 4 cushions to get on that red. Or he's, well, I was going to say 4 cushions, but he's come down the other side of the table. It's still a great shot, though. Very well controlled. Beautifully on the red.
Amazing enough, Ken, that was played plain ball as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Very well controlled. Now, he's just had a look at that plant. There you see it again. The other way, of course, would have been around the back of the green and 4 cushions, get on the red the same way, but good shot. Just having a look at that plant there, just above the black. If it's not on, it'll be low on this black.
6.
Well, it looks like it's on. And that is certainly ideal, because if he leaves a nice little angle on these reds here, after potting this black, it may bring some more reds into play.
I'm not too sure whether I'd like to have played on the plant there. I know the plant's a certainty, but unless he screws back for the blue, Ken, if he plays the run through, that red could stop the white running through. And that's why he hit it so hard.
40.
You wouldn't like to play these every day of the week. I'm not sure whether you can see enough of the black to pot it. But, you know, where the green is, he can't really get safe off the green, so he's decided to go all out for the pot. Plain ball, he'll just about hit the outside red of the pack. So he's not bound to be on a red if he hits that one. He just managed just to flick the red, didn't he? And he couldn't have played that better. That's an excellent shot.
21. Two. 29. 30.
Shaun always been one of the most aggressive break builders, so into the pink at pace. Didn't quite catch the pink full enough. He'll be pretty pleased where all the reds have gone, but disappointed that the white has gone past the blue spot. Just watch how the white screws off the other red, and at the minute Shaun seems to be playing that shots with a little bit of side. You see the side spinning off there? It's nice if you can to go into them plain ball and then the white doesn't release up the table.
Just going to say, I'm not quite sure whether he needed that much pace, did he, and screw? Well, he could have just... He hit it with the full force there. Could have medium pace, but the way the reds were already loose enough, just got too much screw into it. Now he's faced with a tricky red. It's the fact that the black may not pot into both corner pockets he can't hold, so he's got to avoid both reds and the black to get back up for the blue or pink here. Good shot.
36.
I haven't seen Shaun hit the ball as well as he did against Stephen Hendry, and so far tonight, since when he won the World Championship a couple of years ago. He was hitting the ball really well. Mark Williams is, if he does get a chance, obviously, he's going to have to play well this evening the way Shaun's hitting them at the moment.
Good timing, Willie.
38.
Didn't miss the pot though, did he?
He's still on this red, but Jan Verhaas will have to have his eagle eye about him here. Should he play? Well, actually, this red is on. Doesn't look on from our position, but the red into this bottom left-hand corner pocket does go. Near the kiss on the brown here.
39.
He's got it, but he won't be happy with it. Half ball kiss on the brown would have been much more pleasurable for him. Now, green or yellow here. These are missable into a blind pocket. Sometimes you can put a little bit too much side. You just got to be careful.
Right, it's a good job he played that slow. That wouldn't have gone in any harder. And if it had went in the centre of the pocket, or if it had gone
42.
in the centre of the pocket, he wouldn't have made contact with the blue. So he's still struggling to keep this break going at the moment. Just that one red pots, and playing with the rest, he's going to have to swing the cue ball around two cushions. Pink or blue available, but this is not easy, this one. Yeah, that was always missable, that shot.
Thank you. Shaun Murphy, 42.
So 57 broke down. Wasn't enough, but he got a second chance. 42 broke down. Can Mark Williams make use of his second chance in the match so far?
One.
Mark's neck is obviously not as bad as it was the other evening, where he was allowed not to wear a bow tie. As you can see there, the bow tie is back on, which, my humble opinion, is every match should have bow ties on, but they tend to play casually sometimes.
Three.
Well, he's played very casually on that shot. Would have loved to have been a lot straighter on this blue. Now, looks like he might try and play the cannon on the blue, knock it towards this corner pocket. This has to be played properly, and that's a very good shot. Excellent shot.
Four.
That could have gone wrong.
Very easy to hit the blue thin, wasn't it, rather than thick, and it would have gone wrong. So good shot that.
Could play another little cannon here when he puts the blue. Screw into the other red. Not the red close to the pocket, just the one beside it. Screw into that, leave a nice little angle on this red. May not take the red along the cushion, may take the other red here because he can free the black up into both corner pockets, and that will help his cause. Well, he's decided on the one closest to the pocket. Trying to get on pink here.
Years ago, if you made a 40 break in every frame, you'd suggest that you would definitely win every tournament you played in. I don't think it's the case anymore. The players' break building now has got so much better in all the top 32 players in the world. You know, you've really got to
16.
score heavily when you get a chance. Otherwise, you're leaving yourself open for a counter-attack, as Williams is doing here. He's left-handed, so the one on the left-hand side is not a problem. So even though he's some 26 points behind, he's favourite to win this frame.
70. Thanks.
Yes, I think a couple of years ago, Willie, you may not have fancied Mark Williams to clear up from this position when he was going through that lane spell.
24.
But certainly the last couple of seasons he's been playing almost as good
25.
as he was. He's not quite there yet. Hasn't won a tournament in a couple of years, but he's almost back to his best. I think he just needs a tournament again, doesn't he? Just another win.
I think the key thing is he's practicing hard again, Ken. I think he went a little bit complacent. The fact that he was undoubtedly
32.
one of the, in my opinion, top 4 players of all time at one time, and he just thought he was done it,
33.
got it, and decided it was going to be easy. And the game is so difficult at the minute, you've got to keep putting the hours in. This is a little bit shorter pace. Just about okay, but this is not easy.
40.
Doesn't want to be straight on this black. Wants to have a little angle just to stun the black in and try and get on that. Well, it's almost straight. He may just be able to force it slightly. Yeah, that's the best he could have hoped for, and that's okay.
48.
No pace in this red now whatsoever. Just drop it in. Give it a chance to get into the pocket. Yes, just as well.
49.
Just as well it was played at that pace. Good shot.
Well, of the two players, Mark Williams will be the more delighted, because a few moments ago he looked certain to be going 2-0 behind. This has been first class.
56. $58. $61.
Yes, and these are great frames to win, Willie, aren't they? Really give you such confidence when your opponent's in. He misses and you clear the table. Great
65.
break.
$70. $76.
Well, a little exhibition shot on the
Williams,
black.
76.
He won't be bothered, it's not in. Shaun Murphy took the first frame and was in again in this frame, but it's Mark Williams with a 76 break to level at 1 frame apiece.
Oh, we thought it was going to be a classic, Ken, and the first 2 frames we've had 57 and 42 from Shaun Murphy. We've had 43 and 76 from Williams. Either player could feel there could have been 2-0 in front, but one thing was certain, Shaun Murphy definitely should be 2-0 in front, but Williams played great there.
Yeah, great comeback. Fantastic break. And as I said, those are the type of frames, Willie, that really give you a lot of confidence. You'll be feeling so much better. Someone makes a nice break against you and you come in and clear the table.
I agree with you about Mark. I mean, I just love watching him play. Is the strangest player to watch when he gets down and plays a pot sometimes. You think, well, this is really dangerous. He's going to leave something on. And when he misses or whatever, come on, Mark, yes, we can see you. But when he misses, all of a sudden the white's in a position where he's not left you anything. He's one of the best of all time for me of sorting out a shot to nothing that looks dangerous to some people, but he knows exactly what he's doing. Very clever player. Steve Davis used the word clever, I think, and I agree with him.
Yes, and Dennis calls him the best single ball putter in the world. I don't know what that means, but he is a fantastic putter. There's no doubt about that. And without doubt, one of the best players that's ever played the game. 16 ranking tournament victories, 2 World Championships.
2 Masters, hoping to make it 3. And the way he's playing so far, he's got every chance of making it 3. But as I mentioned earlier on, he's going to have to play well to beat Shaun. Shaun seems to be hitting the ball very well indeed, so this could be a really good match. If he pots this, he will go round the back of the black, but I'm not too sure whether he'll miss the kiss on the red that's to the left of the pack.
I think the good thing about that last frame is Mark saying, you're going to have to play well, Shaun, to beat me. I know you're playing well, but I'm playing well also. I'm not going to sit here and make up the numbers. He's here to win this tournament like they all are. Yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity here again. Oh, he's very unlucky. Horrible kick.
1.
I think blue is probably the favourite here. It's a bit strange there, Willie. He never got the cue ball cleaned, and that was a heavy contact there.
6. 7.
Let's see this shot again. There you see it. Take all the pace out of cue ball.
$14. 15.
That's a nice angle on the black. May go into them, but there is one loose red available also. Oh, that's a fantastic shot. Now, is this red potable into the middle?
22.
It's very close, isn't it? He may be able to hit it to the far jaw. If he plays it slow, it should drop in. Just about on. Yes, that's a good shot.
23.
Well, both players, as we can clearly see, are hitting the ball fabulous.
30.
This could be a real match of very, very high breaks. Looks like it's virtually going to be one chance
31.
snooker, albeit that Shaun had got in first on both the opening 2 frames. He hasn't got in first this time. I wonder whether Mark will score enough at one visit to win a frame. That flew off the cushion. That's the reason he was a little despondent where the cue ball's finished. Just watch his hand
38.
here. If we get a chance, he'll just say, you can see what's happened to the white. You know, he played to probably kiss into that red or finish short of that red for the red at the bottom of the pack. He's still got alternatives.
$39. 46. 47.
Well, Mark feels that one of the 4 reds that are in a bunch will pass in the left-hand corner from here. It doesn't look like it does. We'll probably get a chance to show you whether one of those 2 reds do. Probably the either side of that cluster of 4. He may feel that one of those pots. I don't think he was looking at the plant in the 2 reds in the middle of 4.
52.
So this is already the 5th break over 40 in this match so far.
$53.
Depending on what shot he plays on the pink here, he's had a look at that plant there in the middle of those 4 reds, and the way he's played that, oh goodness me, I was just going to say the way he's played that, the plant's a certainty.
53.
Wow, how has he missed that? Same pattern as the first 2 frames. Player gets in first, doesn't score enough.
It's amazing, isn't it? Just took his eye off the pot. Obviously concentrating on his next shot, which was the plant. Just that slight little bit of lack of concentration, just slight slip. And this looks very similar to the first 2 frames.
1.
Let's see how Shaun Murphy responds.
Well, he may have to play the cannon into 3 reds here because he's lost the cue ball there. He can't hold it without playing the cannon, so he's not bound to get onto a red here. If he kisses the red full ball, he'll be on nothing. He's got to catch these half ball, and then he'll be on probably 3 reds. Not a certainty, this. Look how low he's getting in. He'll play this quite slowly as well to make sure the white gets hold of it. Yeah, just caught it too thin, needed half ball. Yeah, I said he was probably going to struggle to get on a red here, and he has struggled.
These reds are quite a way away from each other. He's looking at the plant. Not the 2 reds on the pink spot, the 2 reds that are close to this right corner pocket. There must be at least 4 or 5 inches between them. So very, very difficult to judge. Very risky.
Any good thing, Ken, is he going to stop on pink or black, isn't he, if he gets it?
Yeah. Yes, and he may be only leaving the second red. If he can manoeuvre the white in such a position, if he could just stun it just anywhere near those 2 reds are, he may not be leaving anything.
Some people may have suggested that was risky, but as Ken said, he could another 2 inches further to the left. He would have been a shot to nothing. I think he probably covered the red that he just missed, so he's done well there to get away with that. I thought he popped the plant, to be honest, at the pace.
Well, that red isn't on. We can't put a red to left centre either, where the pink is, so just a safety. Red close to the cushion, probably stun up somewhere down around by the green, possibly. Could also go off the 2 reds that are close to the pink spot and maybe put it down around the yellow area, but well, is he going to try and swerve that? Very risky.
Yeah, I think in the jaws of the pocket, left and yellow pocket, anywhere in those jaws there, it's going to be a tough safety shot, and he can do that by ringing off the one on the pink spot. I suppose he doesn't want to leave a shot to nothing, and if he gets anywhere near the jaws, he wouldn't.
Yes, and the fact that he's 45 points in the lead, would love to get a red safe tight on one of these side cushions.
Maybe thinking of cutting that red onto the cushion and still getting the white in the jaws of the yellow pocket, but sometimes I think you can think too hard about putting balls safe, Ken. You know?
Yes, you wouldn't necessarily like to leave the white up around the green side, because these 2 reds, the bottom red of the 2 that are on the pink spot goes, and you would leave Shaun a shot to nothing. So the shot is probably up somewhere near the yellow on the cushion, as tight as possible.
Very good. It's an excellent shot. It's not all about just finding past the baud line, it's finding a position to put your opponent in trouble, and Shaun can see at least 3 reds here, all of which are very, very difficult to get safe.
Possible chance of a double and a shot to nothing here. Red on the closest to the right hand side cushion. Half ball. Red will be coming over towards his left hand corner pocket. There's his view.
I know what you're saying, Ken. It'd be very difficult, wouldn't it, to miss both red and blue on the way back up with a cue ball. But he may be taking your choice. Well, win or lose, that's not the best choice. I think an attempt at a safety shot would have been better than going for that one. When in doubt, players often have a go at one. He probably felt there was no safety shot on, and he decided to call out for the pot. One should cost him the frame.
Seven. 8. $15. 16.
Yes, Willie, I don't know about you, but I think probably one of only Shaun's very few weaknesses is that he tries to sometimes think his way out of trouble enough. Sometimes thinks that he's so good at potting that he's going to pot his way out of trouble, and there are plenty of other alternatives in that shot.
23.
So he didn't really take
24.
the time to have a look. Thought he could pot the red, and subsequently left Mark Williams just to polish these off and win this frame.
It's amazing
30.
enough every time Shaun's played a safety shot, Mark's not actually potted
31.
one off the safety. He's got him when Shaun's missed a pot. Shaun's safety success is still at 100%, but of course he's missed a couple of easy pots, which has let Mark in.
36. 37.
Only player in the game to play the shot like that. I've never seen anybody else do what he does. I've seen him play that shot 3 or 4 times in a break of 100 sometimes, rather than use the rest.
42.
I suppose the fact that there's about 12 stones just been wet makes it easy. I'm not sure that Messrs. Parrott and that could play that kind of shot.
37.
It's like an underarm, isn't it? Tennis serve.
47. 51.
This really has been top draw. Every frame we've had 2 breaks over 40 in each frame, and this is 2 breaks over 50 in this one.
50.
He's going to play that shot again if he can reach it, just can't quite reach it. No problem there, the pink, the frame was very, very safe. Breaks of 53 and 56. Shaun Murphy started well. He's now facing an uphill battle. He trails by 2 frames to 1.
A couple of seasons ago, he was outside the top 16 and he was considering his future in the game. Said he would quit unless he got back into the top 16, Steve.
Yes, and it's been solely put down to lack of dedicated practice. He's addressed that, and all of a sudden he's looking sharper and sharper, and looks a very dangerous opponent tonight. And I was thinking, if you were equating the players to animals, in the game. Don't know why it came
You
across.
like to do this,
Well, Shaun would be like a proud lion around the table. He gives, beating of the chest without boasting, but you're proud of himself. Whereas Mark Williams is more the praying mantis type. He can
Nice.
just, sort of slowly and easily walks around the table. He doesn't look like he's doing much, but before you know it, he's grabbed you and you've had it.
I can't top that, I'm afraid. I was going to ask you about the best single ball potter. It's one of these expressions that's come into snooker, and in a way it's not derogatory, but it actually sort of implies that you might be able to put one brilliant ball at a time, but you don't necessarily have the cue ball on a string.
Well, I think Mark Williams, when he first came on the scene, would have been considered to be a player who wasn't particularly worried about positional play. But I think what we've seen here so far, he's up there with the best of them these days. I think perhaps that's addressed by longevity in the game.
It certainly is, and it's Williams who has the edge as we go into that final frame before the mid-session interval. Let me remind you that we're off the air at 8 o'clock here on BBC Two, but this match will continue live on the red button, so if you want to get across there now, feel free, otherwise we'll be there until 8 o'clock.
Willie, I wonder what animal you would be synonymous with.
When I've been sunbathing, I'm probably more like a mammal. When I'm sunbathing on the beaches now and again, I've been suggested that like I'm a beach whale, probably. But
I would have said maybe a walrus or a bald eagle.
One.
Yeah, one thing was said, I think that was a great analogy from Steve, because Shaun is a very, very proud player, the way he walks around, and I totally agree with the two mammals stroke animals he called up there, because it is interesting to see how either player goes round the table.
What animal would you associate with Steve Davis then, Willie?
That's a good one.
3.
I shall have one ready for you tomorrow. I need overnight to think of that one, because it needs to be special.
Answers on a postcard, please.
4.
So first in this time is Shaun Murphy. First in on the first 2 frames. Didn't get a chance in the 3rd frame, so he knows that he needs to make 60 or above at least, otherwise he's not necessarily going to win the frame. Well, there must be something pots here, I don't know what it is.
9.
That's the first real poor shot from either of the 2 players this evening. Needed that cue ball to be another 3 or 4 inches further down the table. Didn't have much of a gap, did he, between the 2 reds above the black and the black? He only had a gap of 5 or 6 inches to get onto that red. Poor shot though, that.
Shaun Murphy, 9.
Well, that took off the cushion. That wasn't as bad a safety shot as it looks. OK, didn't mean to hit it that thin. He was playing it a little bit thicker, but it absolutely flew off this top cushion. And we haven't seen that all week, really. I think the table was played fabulously. I think the pockets are fair. They're not too big as they have been on previous seasons. Just keep an eye on this white here. It just bounced and took off. I think the pockets are fair. I think the tail was a great speed. So Shaun Murphy gets a second chance very quickly. He's found a plant, and if that's on, he can hold it for the pink. It's just a little bit thin to hold for the pink. As he plays a cannon on the red to the right of those 2 reds, just to hold the cue ball. And he's not got the cannon right. So that's 2 chances, and now he's snookered.
5.
So for the first time in this match, a player has got in and not scored heavily enough. I think you can see a bit of the black. There's two problems. He can't get the right-hand side, and he wants to avoid the kiss on the blue. And if he hits it thicker, he might even kiss into the red above it. So he's going to probably play for a baulk colour. Playing this way, I think probably green's about favourite.
Green ball.
That's just the angle, and he's played it very, very well. Good shot.
Thank you. Shaun Murphy, 5.
Could have been in a lot of trouble there, Willie. He could have been, certainly would have been called misses there until he hit one of those ball colours.
Yep, so he's had 2 chances, Shaun. He'd be very disappointed to only be 14 in front. He's looked down the side of the table and he can't see the reds to the left of the pack, so he's going to be a tough safety shot here. Probably just trying to rest on the one next to the black, but this is a very, very tough shot to play. Not hard enough, that'll be replaced. At least now he knows the line is there, because he's got the line perfect.
Mark Williams, 4.
Yes, that's something along those lines there. I'd like to just rest on that red just to the right of the black. And he's got to be careful. He has to rest right as close as possible to it, because there is a red into the left middle that is on if he doesn't judge that.
Good sportsmanship from Shaun, because the way that Jan put it back, he could see that red to pot it, and he's made sure that he's put it back in the right place, so he's still snookered. The fact that he can hit that red, though, Ken, if he misses it this time, he'll be warned about the three misses. So he needs to land this time.
He's got to be careful here. Good shot. Very good shot. Well, he certainly won't be going for one of those reds, but may play the single red closest to it. A shot that Cliff Thorburn introduced into the game many years ago, Willie. Good friend of yours.
Yeah, absolutely. We named it the dump shot, didn't we? Because all you're doing is just dumping the white on the top cushion. And Cliff, what a player he was. Goodness me, you had to scrape him off the table when you were playing him. He was a very scruffy player. When I say scruffy player, he used to move his hand around on the cloth all the time, and after 2 frames, the table was like a ploughed field. There'd be finger marks everywhere. We saw that last night with Ryan Day and Joe Perry, but that was chalk rather than finger marks. There was so much chalk on the table last night. I think Ryan must like playing with a very hard tip, which throws the chalk off very easily. A lot of players tend to play with tips that hold the chalk. Is it strange how we haven't really got a top player from Canada at the moment? When you think the likes of Kirk Stevens, Werbenek, Thorburn, where have they all gone?
Robbie Dale.
Aline Robidoux, what a player he was as well, yeah. Jim White. Where have they gone? It's a big game in Canada as well. There's lots of snooker clubs there.
One.
Excellent pot there from Mark Williams, and also well controlled. Tell how confident he was of getting that with the position of the cue ball. Made sure he was well short to be on one of the
3.
yellow or brown. Now nice little cannon here, just nudged it second red away, pink and to follow.
4.
So nice to see Mark playing somewhere near his best again. It was such a waste when he went through a spell where he lost his way a little bit and struggled almost out of the top 32 at one time, amazingly enough. And as Steve mentioned in the studio at our last visit there, he decided to knuckle down and start practicing again. And boy, he's capable now. I think he'll win a tournament this year.
$11.
Didn't get into the cue ball there, giving himself a little bit to do with this yellow. Not too sure whether he can reach it without the rest. Just about. He wouldn't have been able to reach it the other night. His neck was struggling on this kind of shot. Jan Verhaas keeping close eye on those 2 reds with the waistcoat coming very close. Good recovery. If it flicks the 2 reds, even better.
13. 14. 20. 21.
Bit short on the blue, so take the pink. Just a couple of shots just to make this a frame winning break. Not quite sure whether one of those reds just to the right of the black spot will pot into this bottom right hand corner pocket. Certainly the top one goes into the left hand corner pocket.
28.
He can have no complaints here, Shaun Murphy, in this frame. He's been in twice and with the balls in open play, and he managed to get 40 and lost position on 2 occasions. So on reflection, this is just about a fairish sort of result on the first 3 frames. Shaun should have won the second frame and didn't, and he's been punished for that. So Mark Williams has certainly been the better of the 2 players in the first 4 frames. And I said he was going to have to play well. He certainly has.
41. 42.
Pink puts him 38 points ahead, so red
48.
and pink are blue. And Shaun Murphy will need snookers.
49.
This has been another very good, competent break from Mark Williams. Everything going into the centre of the pocket. That's another very good positional shot.
55.
Striking the ball very cleanly indeed.
Yeah, where has he been? It's amazing, isn't it? For 2 seasons now we've been thinking that Mark was going to struggle to get back to the top of his game. All of a sudden it looks like he's never been away.
Well, it's the same with anything, Willie. It's amazing. A little bit of confidence, a few decent wins under your belt.
62. $63.
Yes, I'm sure Mark's beautiful wife Jo kicked him out on the practice table and started
69.
to get knuckling down again. They moved house a couple of years ago and got around a few quid, and all of a sudden he started buzzing again. And now about this for a shot if it lands. A little
71.
bit hard. We've got there. That would have been a shot. But the standard has been superb. Both players queuing very well. Shaun Murphy was in twice and didn't score enough. Mark Williams did. He got in with 71 one visit. And Mark Williams goes into the mid-session interval, leading by 3 frames to 1. So for our Red Button viewers, we've got a 15-minute break now, and the standard of this game is very good. Don't miss the second half.
I haven't even noticed it. He must have moved it. Yeah, I haven't even noticed it. That's mine. You can make that decision. Just don't want to do it. I will. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll ask him, and if he's there, then yeah. Just leave it there. Yeah, but I mean, he's going to remove it again. Leave it. If you need to come back for now. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Frame 5. Mark Williams.
Well, after an excellent opening 4 frames, Mark Williams leading 3-1, getting frame 5 underway. I'd be pretty pleased with the way the opening 4 frames went, purely because after a frame and a half, he'd hardly got his hand on the table and had it to do, really. He looked like going 2-0 behind, but since then, when he pinched the second frame, he's looked very, very good indeed. Shaun Murphy had 2 chances in frame 4 to win it and didn't get many points at all. So it's a big frame, this. Shaun Murphy to get back into it. Mark Williams would be strong favourite if he wins this frame.
Oh.
Got the line perfect again, but under hit. But the problem with this kind of shot, if you play it harder, it tends to slide. Now, if he plays it harder, he could go around the back of this red. At least he knows now the angle is on.
Yeah.
Yes, that's possibly the angle the cue ball may take, the path. She has his pace. Yeah, it's just sliding off the cushion there, as you said, Willie.
Foul.
Just got it.
Mark Williams 4.
Not a little bit harder, but just a little bit straighter into the first cushion. He's got to try and get near that middle pocket.
Yeah, the reason the first time playing it the pace he did, it didn't slide as much. The harder you hit them, the more you slide. Now you've got to go on an alternative line to this now. I'm just wondering whether this is going to be... Jan's going to give him a warning here, because I think the red to the right of the pink, he can hit 4 ball. Yes, he is telling him now. He's going to have to make contact with the ball now because he hit 1, so... I don't know whether he's going to just roll up into them or try and play a deep screw off the pack to get back into baulk, but this is a tough situation he's in here. So, as you know, the third attempt, after the second miss, you've been warned because you can see a ball, so he's now going to have to make contact with one. Maybe playing the pot. Back into baulk if he gets it right. There goes the cue ball. Oh, and unlucky. Bar the kiss, he would have got back into baulk. So twice he's been forced into making an attempt to the pot, and twice he's missed them. Once he'd made contact with the red on the way back, I suppose really Shaun's been a little fortunate not to have left an easy opening red than this. It's still a red you'd fancy Mark knocking in, but perhaps where the whites finish, you'd expect an easier red than this, where all the balls are. Little anxious on that one, Mark. I don't know whether we've got a chance to show you that again, but his cue action there was a little bit quick. He knew it was a really big shot and just went a little bit quick on that one. A little bit of movement.
Yes, and you can tell how badly he struck the cue ball with its final position. He's trying to get on the black there, so overscrewed it by at least 18 inches. He's been very lucky. Hasn't left anything easy, so just a safety shot I would suggest. Unless one of those reds goes into the middle. Well, he may be playing this as a shot to nothing. The red just to the right of the pink may just squeeze into the left middle, so he could play this as shot to nothing. Wide up, down, near the green. Well, the second parts of a shot goes. That's not too bad. May have to rise the butt of the cue here. Try and dig down on the cue ball. Try and bring it back to the baulk area. It's not going to be easy though. I think the two on the right hand side cushion, they look favourite. Try and get the white back to somewhere where it is now. That's not good. I don't think Shaun, he could possibly take a pot on, but I think just play the red that's closest to the yellow and put him back somewhere on that top cushion where his cue just is now.
Yes, it was always the person who played the first telling safety shot, and that's it. Mark Williams is in trouble now.
Well, at first glance, maybe, Willie, but it's not a great... He would have loved to be in a few inches left of his position at the moment, because I think he's left Mark Williams a possible shot to nothing. Red just below the pink spot is possibly on. Well, he's taking the outside red, so it's not a shot to nothing here, but I think that red that was just on the pink spot, he may have been able to squeeze through for that one. But that's a poor return.
Mark's body language tells me that Shaun can get through to this red, but from the commentary position it looks very tight. From that position it's not, so he can ideally like to probably play the run through and kiss the red just above and to the right of the pink and stay on the pink, but that's not straightforward. He'll have to play it with just a little bit of left hand side. He's not sure to miss the kiss on the pink on the way back. He's not guaranteed to get onto a colour from that red, and that's the reason he's playing a different red. He's playing the slightly more difficult, well, a lot more difficult red, but it will avail better position. Well, all of a sudden, unless he's fluked it, that was a proverbial mile away. I don't think I've ever seen Shaun miss a long putt by that far. That barely touched the jaws.
One.
Not a great chance this at the moment. Black and pink obviously in positions where they can be potable when a couple of reds are moved, but it's not a chance you'd expect him to win the frame at one visit. So much so he's even refusing the green, which I'm very surprised if he refuses the green. Thought he was going to roll up to the brown for some reason there. You've got to play the pot here. Well, Mark, you may not get another better chances than this, because if he gets safe off this next, if he hits a red and gets safe, you may have missed an excellent chance there. Very surprising choice, that.
Yes, I'm sure just a pot on the green and anywhere on this table you would have surely been on something. Very surprising to refuse that. Okay, he may have been hampered slightly with the yellow, but certainly wasn't a difficult pot.
And obviously, if Shaun leaves him down this end and easy red's available, it's still pink and black out of play. At least with the green, he could have probably got on the red to the left of the pink. He could have left the white on the side cushion in between those two reds and been on the red down the cushion. But he's got the upper hand, I suppose, at the moment. Can Shaun hit the red and get it safe? Unlikely.
Well, that is a possibility. Okay, with blue there, you'd have to use an awful lot of right-hand side to get to that red, but obviously doesn't think the angle is there. So this is a hidden hoper. This could go anywhere. And that's not bad. Well, he didn't play that, but he certainly will take it.
Well, you should get arrested for getting away with that. Didn't play that red at all, but that's turned out great. He's misjudged that by quite a considerable margin, but what a result.
I don't think Dennis Taylor would have even got that one with the Lions, would he?
Bet he wishes he'd gone for the green now, Mark Williams.
Well, he's taking this shot on, but he's playing it as a shot to nothing. Screw back into balk. Yes, and well worth the risk. And that's worked out just nice.
And now whoever pots the next red is entitled to score heavily. Both pink and black brought into play with that one shot. And Ken, you like myself, was quite amazed that Mark didn't play the green.
Yes, amazing shot. If we could just see that shot now again. This was the position he has. Now look at the green, how close the green is to the corner pocket. Okay, the yellow may be slightly in his way, but he still has enough room to put his hand between white and yellow. And this was the shot chosen by Mark, but the green was so easy.
And also, if he finishes anywhere near the left-hand cushion, he can get rid of the red that's covering the pink and a chance to score heavily. I know Shaun was very, very lucky, to be fair, to get away with it, but that happens in snooker. You know, sometimes you've got to take the chance when it's there. Mark refused it there.
Well, there were so many loose reds as well, Willie. Anywhere would have done him. I'm sure he would have been very unfortunate not to be on at least one red. But he finds himself in a precarious position now.
Just coming up to 2 minutes of thinking time here, and it does need a lot of thinking. Shaun got away with his bad escape out of the snooker. Mark needs to get away with this one.
Well, if he lays on the red just over the pocket, if he knocks that up towards the pink, Willie, and just leaves the white somewhere there, I think he'd be... Okay, he may have a shot to the right middle, Shaun, but... Oh, well, And that was very well worked out. Excellent shot. Maybe a little bit unlucky that he's not actually on this black. And if he is on the green, but it looks very, very straight. Yes, had he been on that black, that would have been such a bonus. Well, he went for this, thought he could find a gap. But this is very difficult. Deep screw. These are not easy.
It's funny, isn't it? He's played a green there that was 10 times more difficult than the one he refused, and he couldn't hit that better. He played that 100 times. You can't hit a shot better than that. Brilliant shot with the rest.
Yes, and look how well he gets through the cue ball. Look at that. Fantastic.
5.
We're talking snooker, how you can make your own luck, and OK Mark perhaps missed half a chance on the green earlier on, but in potting the red, he deserved to be on a colour. He wasn't, and he dug in the long green, and now he's in a perfect position to take a 4-1 lead.
$12. 13.
Anything but straight is good on this red. If it's straight, he's got a little bit of work to do.
19.
No problem. Either stun it out or play off one cushion with a little bit of side. Played the stunt.
20.
No need to play the cannon on the red next to the pink here, but that's one option, just to slow the cue ball down. He's got plenty of room though, so he probably won't play it this time. Just played a drift by that red. Obviously it pots. I didn't realise that red potted. There's a bonus.
28. $34. 35.
Doesn't have much work to do to seal this frame. Just keep control of the cue ball. Can just concentrate on that. He should be okay. He's got
41.
ample reds in the open.
$42. $47. $48.
Black will put him 64 points ahead, so one more red and a high valued colour will be enough to leave Shaun Murphy needing snookers. He's a little straight on this black though. It's not straightforward. Could take the pink into the middle.
$55.
Now this is virtually frame ball. We've seen him put a fantastic green with the rest.
This is Mark's 5th break over 50 and another one over 40 as well. So whoever you're playing, you're going to be leading playing that good.
56.
Yeah, it certainly wiped its feet. Have a look at this.
Had a good look over to his pals in the audience there when that went in. He just felt that he'd probably missed that. Lucky just saying to his to his friends there, he thought he'd missed that for a second, and it went though. No heroics there with that positional shot. He knew that that was frame ball.
61.
Shaun Murphy started this game like he was playing as good as he's done all season, all of a sudden, and had a shot.
Yes, and this will be 4 frames in a row. Worrying times for Shaun Murphy. It has to be said, Mark Williams is cueing probably the best we've seen him for a few years just now.
62.
Another example of his putting ability.
Well, the break comes to end at 62 this time, and barring snookers, Mark Williams would win 4 on the trot and go 4-1 in front.
One. Black one.
So we're trying to take at least 2 more reds and blacks and then leave a red on and try and get the snookers that he requires.
8.
It's amazing, isn't it, when you put under pressure,
Murphy,
how all of a sudden the easy balls become not so easy. So it's at least 3 4-point penalty snookers to tie, so I suppose he's entitled to carry on for the possible chance of a free ball. He's lost his way a little bit, hasn't he?
One.
Let's take the black here. 1 more red and black, and may keep the last red on the table. Because if he gets 1 snooker and a free ball, he'll still be back in this frame.
8.
This would be a difficult shot. Red into green pocket. Screw back. Back onto the black. Well, he didn't go for it.
Shaun Murphy, 8.
Okay, he's 55 behind, 43 on the table. So 1 4-point snooker, free ball, possibly a black, and he'd be able to tie, but that's that equation out of the question.
1.
It certainly puts peg to this frame. There's the underarm again from Mark Williams.
6.
And you know something? I don't think I've ever seen him miss one when he's played underarm. I mean, he's been doing it for 10 years, that kind of shot, and one of the first couple of times I saw it, I thought, well, how can he plays screw shots like that, shots with
13.
side.
15.
He's only holding the cue with his thumb and one finger at the back of him there, and amazing.
In the frame.
Shaun Murphy obviously decided that's enough, so another frame-winning break, this time 62. Mark Williams goes further clear at 4-1. Well, Ken, I didn't see this coming, to be honest. The way the match started, I thought Shaun Murphy looked in fabulous form, and I even suggested on commentary that Mark Williams is going to have to play very well to win this match. All of a sudden, he has played very well.
Yes, I think that second frame when Shaun Murphy was in, I think he made a break of 42 and left Mark Williams a chance, and he duly obliged with a 76 return. And as I said at that time, the type of frames that really give you so much confidence, really settle you down in a match and give you that great bit of confidence now, and also sends out signals to your opponent, which is just as important to say that, well, you're in good form, but I'm in good form as well, so you're going to have to play well to beat me. You're not going to get 2 or 3 chances a frame. And when you do get your chance, you're going to have to take it. And that's exactly the way Mark Williams has played. Any chance he's got, he's made some fantastic breaks. 43, 76, 53, 56, 71, 62. So he's made 6 breaks over 40. And he's won 4 frames.
Thank you. Frame 6. Shaun Murphy.
The worrying point for Shaun Murphy fans as Shaun gets this frame underway is the fact that Shaun Murphy hasn't made a break above 20 in the last 4 frames. Didn't play to catch the pack there. He was trying to screw across the face of the pink to try and get onto the black, and in cannon into the pink. He's just trying to miss the pink there and get onto the black.
Green.
Just wonder whether Shaun's decided to attack for a couple of frames. It looks like he is. That's a very good shot under pressure, that. Having been kept off the table for 4 frames. That was a tough shot to take on.
4. Five. Ten. 11.
Yes, this red does pot.
18.
So I screw back off this and nudge the other red out of the way.
19.
That wasn't. Would have loved that red to go up another couple of inches. That's a little bit unlucky.
26.
Has a red to the right middle, but
Touchable.
if this is dead straight, you may have to leave the blue from distance.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky there. He arced the cue ball into the bunch, which he needed to do to miss the red that's directly above the black. And as long as he didn't make a cannon and full ball, he'd have been okay. But he hit the pack full ball. Watch it arc round that front red, which he had to do, and it just flicked off the red and hit the pack full. Just took the pace out of the cue ball, didn't it? That little flick on that red. As you rightly say, Kenny, you can't do a lot with this. The blue at distance is, unless he gets dead straight on it, the blue's missable. So he's got to be a little careful here. It's a big shot in context of the match.
Good shot. Yes, a bit of pressure on that shot. Little tester.
32.
Gonna need another good pot here. Possibly back up for the blue.
33.
Now, could track the loose red, but probably a good opportunity maybe to go into the pack here just to bring a few more into play.
He went into them very hard earlier on in the match. That's a better pace. I think earlier on in the match he went into those 100 mile an hour. That was a pace where Ken mentioned on commentary that he was surprised he played it so hard. That time with there been a few loose ones, he played it a little slower, and the result is perfect.
Yes, and I think you can just drop this red in, leave it low enough for the black. There's not much room between red and black, so
$39.
I think he's just gone far enough. He can use the red just above the black, directly above the black, just to slow down the pace of the cue ball here, so he can screw into that and hope for the red beside it. Just right, directly above the black, just screw into that slightly. There you see it. And this is perfect. It's a good response.
46.
Took a green on after his first red. That, probably a lot of players would have refused.
47.
I think if there were 4-1 in front, they'd have played it, Ken, but 4-1 behind, it was a big shot, wasn't it? And this is where the breaks come from. So once again, the scoring has continued. Every time somebody gets in the balls, they make 40 or above. Usually 50 or above, apart from the opening frame for Mark, when he only made 43.
54.
Since then, he's had a 50 or above in every frame. This time it's Shaun. Let's Mark know that he's still playing pretty well, so there's still a match on here. Williams obviously favourite now, but this could go all the way.
$62. $63.
Break goes to 70, 67 left, so possible high break of 137. And that won't be able to beat the highest break, which currently stands 71. At 140.
He's already made 155 competitive centuries, and when you consider that he didn't turn pro till 1998, that's pretty good.
79.
£10,000 for the highest break, which is currently held by Neil Robertson. £10,000 will be awaiting him, should nobody beat it. But I'm not sure that's enough, 140, the way the players that are left in the tournament. All the players left in the tournament is very, very good break
84.
builders. I think maybe 142-ish or above would win the break prize.
85. $92. 93.
Century 156. And of all those centuries, this one would have given a lot of pleasure.
100.
Having sat in his chair for 3.5 frames, he had to win this frame, and he's done it very well. Well, what a shame he didn't clear up, but it was an excellent break. The standard of this match is absolutely top draw. Murphy wins it, he's back in the match, but still trailed by 4 frames to 2. Well, both players have just left the auditorium for a moment. We'll give you time to relax, and we'll pick up commentary when they return.
It's all right. Thank you, Peter. The 7th frame, Mark Williams to break.
Mark Williams breaking off in the 7th frame. A little bit of a shock to the system, I'm sure, that Shaun made that 100 from nowhere. But you'd expect it with these two great players, two former world champions. Well, it doesn't look to me like he can miss the red next to the black if he pots this. But he did do, possibly in the heart of the pocket and very close to the red, but Shaun knew it was going to, at that pace, it was going to throw a little bit wide. I suppose a fraction shorter. But he needed to be on a balk, or he might have kissed the red. See, the pace he played it, the harder you play this, the wider the white goes. Now, just look how close he is to the red. I mean, a whisker. Now, where the cue ball's finished, if the cue ball stops about there, he'd have had to hit it slower. Consequently, he'd have caught the red. So he played that really well, Shaun, to widen the angle.
Brown ball. Shaun Murphy 1.
Yes, Mark Williams could come off the right-hand side of the table, but the red, well, he's just looking at, if he comes off the left-hand side, he will leave that red into the left middle, and also if he comes off the right-hand side, the red, just to the extreme right of that bunch of reds, the pack is open and can go into this corner pocket, so we'll be leaving that. So he's in a sort of dangerous situation here. May try and elect to roll up to the red next to the black, or even into the back of the pack, but he's got to be pinpoint here. Yes, he's played that very well. Played that very, very well. Applause, but Shaun won't be happy. This red is too close to this pocket than he would have liked. This pot is on. Overcut.
One.
All of a sudden, the cue actions returned. He'd struggled a little bit in the previous frames, purely because Mark Williams had put him under immense pressure. Bit of value in playing into them. I know there's the two reds that he can get onto, but then the black's still going to be awkward. I'd like to get the pink into play here, because those two reds either side of the black are not straightforward. Played for the loose reds. I'm not saying it's the wrong shot at all, especially if he gets on that one. I wasn't aware he could get onto that red. That's excellent.
5.
Couldn't have played that shot better than that.
Six.
And when the black goes back onto its own spot, there's that lovely little gap there directly above the black. So after the next red, if you can get an angle on the black, there's a nice little hole in the pack there. Look, that's where you want to take the white into.
13.
See, that's the line he'd like to take. So he needs an angle on this next black, which he's not bound to get. Now, he has got that angle now.
14.
So that's a little hole, because even if he catches either of the two reds thin, it will still be the same result. He'll be pushing reds to left and right corners. He needs to stun it to them, not screw into them, though. Missed the gap, and he stunned into them and missed the gap. That was a poor shot for somebody of Shaun's class. See, the gap was a long way away, wasn't it, from there? Well, he's decided he's going to take this on. The red near the yellow doesn't pot, so he can play it as a shot to nothing. Missed that by a long way, didn't he?
Shaun Murphy, 21.
Attempter for Mark Williams.
Yes, and the fact that the red has come down near the black, he will have to now try and screw back up for the pink or the blue. Oh, that was close. Well, tried to screw all the way in the balk, and that's not a bad second.
Foul. And the miss. Mark Williams 4. Yeah.
Missed call, so Mark Williams will have the ball replaced.
Similar scenario to a couple of frames ago where Shaun will have another go at this, and of course then if he doesn't hit this red, the 3 miss rule will come into play again, so he may have to play a different shot, so he needs to hit it this time.
Yeah.
Ask you a question, Ken, then. Say you did miss that there, would you still risk playing the same shot? Wasn't it you who had 3 misses here once at the Bensons, or was it Steve? When it was the Masters, I think it was against you. I think Steve did it.
No, Steve had it against me in Ireland at the Masters in Ireland,
yeah.
Lost the frame. It was the last frame, actually, so lost frame and match.
Oh, you've always been lucky.
I was very disappointed, I have to be said. That's a poor shot from Mark Williams. Left Shaun on this red. Okay. Possible double. We could play it as a shot to nothing as well.
One.
Yes, excellent pot again. Would have loved to be a little bit higher off this cushion. Could have taken the yellow to the right middle.
Mark Williams 1.
That's good snooker. I don't think you can see enough of this right hand side cushion to nestle into the pack off one cushion, so I'll have to come off 2 or 3 to get into this pack here.
Well, I'm surprised that Shaun's decided to play it this way, because if he misjudges unless he's playing it 3 cushions, that red that's just above the black, it could be left on here. I tend to think top cushion, side cushion, and rest into the reds to the right of the pink. That would be a better choice for me. He's playing it 3 cushions.
Yes, that's the possible angle here. 3 cushions. Has he played it well? Excellent shot. Excellent shot.
Very good. Always the concern was the red just above the black to leave, Ken, and he couldn't have played that better.
Yes, and I think he's covered everything, so well worked out.
Oh, decided to take the cut on. Made it look a lot easier than it was, and he's unlucky again not to get on to anything nicer than this. So just the roll up behind the yellow again.
Mark Williams, 1.
I'll mark the grimace there, because I think he's probably left the angle off the side cushion. Needed to be as close to that yellow as possible. That's the reason Mark grimaced a little bit there. He didn't want to leave that cushion. Would have been a little bit dangerous playing the roll-up into the pack from the other side. Perfect example of a shot to nothing again. People always think doubles are dangerous. Now and again, there is a chance of playing it as a shot to nothing, and the pace he played it, even if the round had gone in, he would have covered it. He doesn't quite generate the speed that some of the players do on this kind of shot, does he, Mark?
No, but that's okay.
No, that's
he
okay,
has a
yeah,
red
yeah.
to the right middle and left middle, but I think the right middle is the best option. There you see it. Just enough room to screw the ball back.
9.
That was an excellent shot. Very good positional shot there.
16.
Played to perfection.
17.
He's just let the cue go slightly there.
24.
Just didn't strike it as well as he would have liked. And this makes this pot a lot more difficult.
Yeah, it was a straightforward black, Ken, wasn't it? He could have played the forcing stun up. He kind of played half and half there, and as you say, he almost kind of dabbed at it rather than get through it, and the pace was taken out of the cue ball. He's got to rely on a good kiss here. And the good kiss is not there.
25. $31.
Felt it was worth the risk,
31.
but he's possibly left a shot to nothing on for Shaun. Not quite. It's just travelled enough to cover the red. So This is a massive frame, isn't it? Mark Williams wins it. It's very hard to see how he wouldn't win the match. Shaun Murphy wins it. It's back to toss of a coin. It's a good safety.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
Mark purposely asking Jan just to look where this cue ball is, because he's playing a very thin one. And if it was put back, he'd want to make sure it was in exactly the right place. Well, saying playing it thin, he's caught it a little thicker than he wanted. And that's why he's so disappointed, because Shaun will definitely take this on. The only problem is the gap between the reds, the three reds on the side cushion. If he screws it in on and off the cushion, he won't want to bring one of those reds into play here, just in case he misses it. So he'd be playing for pink or black without moving a red into play. That's what he's played it perfectly. And that's given him a chance. Now he doesn't mind playing into reds. It appears that the angle he has on the black, I don't think he can screw into the middle of those three reds on the cushion, but he can certainly hit the top, the left-hand side of the three reds, but he feels the pink's a better shot for position. Slightly more difficult, this pink, than the black. But played very confidently. That's an excellent shot.
7. Eight.
Yes, if you can get the white somewhere around there, possibly even cannon the second one close to the middle pocket up the cushion. I'd have a choice of reds then. There you go. Kiss it over the middle. Oh, almost. Very unlucky. Just wanted almost a full ball kiss on that red.
That was a frame-winning shot, wasn't it? If that turned out, he's now still in a little bit of trouble here to keep the break going.
This is a big shot. Fraught with danger. Should he miss this, will he?
It's one of those, you want to play it slow, don't you? But you daren't play it slow because the red will stick in the jaw, so you end up playing it harder than you want to, which makes the pot harder.
I think you could play it with a medium. Well, he's screwing back, so he's taking all of those possibilities out of the equation, and that's a fantastic shot. Needs a full ball kiss on the green.
16.
It's okay. It could have been a little bit better.
Well, this went in.
Fantastic shot.
Never touched the sides, did it? Down the cushion. That's amazing.
Beautifully cued. Now, green is favourite. Just screw it. Side cushion, top cushion. These two reds pot into this middle.
You did mean brown, I know you did. But you said
brown.
green.
I'm sorry. I'm getting carried away. Now it's just got to avoid the kiss on the pink. He's got to get by that pink. Oh.
Well, that's not
20.
unlucky, that's a bad shot.
Well, I was going to say that's Murphy's Law, but
should be nowhere near the pink, to be honest, so he's very poor for...
It just didn't hit the brown hard enough, did he?
No, he's a foot away from where he played. Such an important part in this match here. He's going to have to hit and hope. Needs to catch one of these reds half ball, otherwise he could stick them all up. Done just about as well as he could there.
20.
Well played. Shaun's winding himself up to possibly take this on. Needs that red to come out of baulk, otherwise this is a chance for Mark Williams. Shaun's turn to be very fortunate there. Could have gone anywhere, that red. He will be snookered probably, but Mark Williams would rather had the red on.
Foul. And a miss.
Well, he's called a miss, but certainly Mark Williams won't have this put back. Just see him catch the yellow slightly. Excellent chance here for Mark Williams. Perfect on the blue. Can try and screw in behind the red or try and take it into this right middle. It's just a little short.
6.
Tiny bit short. Not a couple of inches would have been perfect. Just these middles are so tight these days. Just very acute angle there. That's a good shot.
7.
Excellent shot.
There's 6 points in front. Up to and including the brown for a 5-2 lead. Shaun had every chance in this frame. A frame he, I'm sure, felt he had to win
13.
to stay in the match. He's got it all to do now.
Yes, just stun the yellow in. Leave it somewhere. The white. Somewhere around the spot
15.
should be okay. 56 points ahead, so green 56 points. 56 points to 42. 14 points ahead, so green 17,
18.
brown 21. Just the bound required. Shaun again needing snookers after this. Big frame in the context of the match, Woody.
22.
Massive frame. And this is the first frame we haven't had a 50 or above. But it's been a very, very good frame. Either player could have won it, but Mark Williams did what he had to do when he's got his chances. He's played good break building, good safety.
Mark Williams, 27.
And Shaun Murphy deciding that he knows he's got a mountain to climb now. Mark Williams with the smallest break of a frame. But he still wins it. He goes 5-2 in front, 3 up with 4 to play. Well, I'm sure our Red Button viewers are watching this match live, and the standard has been absolutely superb. I suppose on reflection of the game, it's about the fairest scoreline at the moment, 4-2. 5-2, I should say. Yes, I was saying that probably 4-3-ish. I mean, Mark definitely deserves to be in front, that's for sure. Any chance for Shaun here? Ken?
Oh yeah, he's still in the game, of course. The good thing, I suppose, about Shaun's game is that he can score very, very quickly, you know, so a couple of chances. He can win the frame one visit, and when you have that ability, you always have a chance. But he has it all to do.
Frame 8.
An uphill battle.
Shaun Murphy to break.
I'm sure in his own mind, he certainly wasn't expecting this from Mark Williams. Okay, Mark Williams involved in the car crash earlier during the week. There's a little bit of a whiplash, stiff neck, struggling slightly. Feeling much better today than he was against Ali Carter, but he's playing some sublime snooker, it has to be said, Willie.
Yeah, he's still walking a little bit tenderly when he walks, but he can get down on the shot a lot quicker now, and I've got to be honest, this is nice to see Mark back at his very best, and I think Steve mentioned that he was just waiting for it to happen, you know, that Mark was going to come back to form. And if you put the work in, you get what you deserve. And this tournament, he's getting what he deserves, playing very well.
Must be able to get through to this red. Excellent pot.
1.
So difficult, those shots into the middle. Made it look very easy. Great opportunity now. Looks like there's 4 reds. I think that red that's closest to the pack at the bottom of the pack will go, so we'll use that a little bit later.
7.
When potting that, we'll be able to bring some more reds into play. Clever shot there.
14.
Knowing that if he underscrewed it, he'd be on the red into the bottom right. Overscrewed it. He's on this red into the bottom left.
15.
Not the best of angles. He can play the arc into the bunch here, but he'd like to get on the loose red at the back of the pack, not the one in open play. He'd like to get on that, the one that's nearest the bunch if he can. That's flew off the cushion. I think he played for both there. If he under hits, he's on the one at the back. If he over hits, it's one in the corner. Unfortunately, it's flew. Another 6 inches of pace came out of the cue ball there from the bounce off the cushion.
Yes, he's still on this red, of course, but I think it was a previous shot. Now you see it flying a little bit off the top cushion, but it wasn't that shot. It was the previous positional shot. Should have been straighter on the black, so he could have just stunned up for this red. Came a little bit high in it, but he's still okay. There you see, that's the shot. I wanted to be another couple of inches down towards that black, even straight on it almost. But that's well controlled.
23.
Again, similar position, isn't it, Willie?
Yeah, it's all about finishing low on this red now. If he gets low on this next red, he'll bring other reds into play because the pack's so tight. If he gets on it straight and he has to play for the black into the pack, he's not straightforward.
Well, after we saw the last bounce off the cushion, I don't think he could have got low on that red, so decided to go into them. Okay, he's got a fine
30.
cut to this left middle, but
you can see what happens to a pack like that, Ken, can't you? When it's like so tight, you know, your only hope is pushing one over the middle. Too thin.
Oh,
you could see on our picture there that was definitely just a fraction too thin. So unlucky for Mark Williams when he went into the bunch there. He deserved to be on something easier than that. Just watch it, just catches the jaw. A little bit of light for Shaun Murphy.
1. Six. 7.
just slightly awry. Would have liked to have that white just a couple of inches further up the table. This could go wrong should he choose to go into the pack here. Well, there you see. Knew he was too low. Didn't want to take the chance. This red is on.
14.
Wants to be straight on it. Well, he'll be pushing into this other red here, just in front of the red that he's going to play. So if he screws back, he's better off to get back on the blue. Couldn't take the chance of going for the black that time.
15.
Well, they're not going in clean, but they're going in. That's the main thing.
20.
A little bit short of pace there.
Shaun Murphy, 20.
Nothing on, but he can play a very telling safety shot here. Bring reds into play. Play the white in behind the cushion near the green and brown spots. Just got to miss the kiss on the yellow and he's okay. And the pink where it is, this is a very, very good shot. That is a telling safety shot.
There you see Hawkeye's view of the shot. He must make perfect connection with this red here, otherwise maybe his last shot. There you see it. Wants to hit the extreme of that red close to the pocket.
Mark Williams, 4.
Williams will definitely have him put back. I don't think he has a pot on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there was any sort of pot on there, Mark would have taken it on. He knows that if Shaun gets his shot right, he could be in trouble himself, but it's such a fine shot.
Yeah.
One thing he can't do is hit it thick, and that's the reason he's erring on the very, very thin side. He doesn't even mind missing it once more if he gets the shot right. But now he's in trouble, because now he'll be warned and now he's got to play a different shot. So Mark Williams just wasting a bit of shoe leather here, because he'd want to put him back in now.
Yes, Mark? Thank you.
Well, this is the shot he would like to play. I'm sure he can see that red full ball, so he will be warned, as Willie was just alluded to.
Would you go for this shot now, Ken? I wouldn't.
No.
I mean, it's too risky, isn't it? The table could roll a little bit. You've got to play an alternative. The rule is, of course, if he misses it this time, he loses the frame and match. We talked about Steve Davis losing that at the Masters in Ireland a couple of frames ago. So he's got to play it slightly thicker now.
Doesn't want to miss cue here. Well, he's hit the balls, but he's left Mark. Well, I was going to say he's left Mark a chance here, but I think that red is covered.
You're kidding. You can't get away with that, surely.
It's very close. From this angle, Mark is having a quick look.
Wow.
I think he's covered it. Wow.
Oh, dear.
Does have a possible red into the yellow pocket or into the left middle. The red just right of the pink. Yeah, will go into possibly left middle, Willie. I'm not quite sure what.
I think he played as a shot to nothing. Played in the top and run through. Or he played in the middle. Played in the top and run through is the same equation, but very fortunate there, Shaun. 18-point lead to Mark Williams, so Shaun definitely can't afford another bad safety at any stage here. He's got to win this safety battle to stay in the match. He's given Mark a chance to get the upper hand now. You've always got to get that cue ball past the baulk line to make it a reasonably difficult safety. When you get your hand on the table, you'd expect your opponent to put you in trouble. Well, that's an excellent reply. Mark put him in trouble there with a little flick off the yellow. He may take this pot on because he can play it back into baulk as well. But add on the thin side to make sure that he got cue ball back into baulk. This time it's Shaun's chance to get the upper hand on the safety because Mark's not found the back cushion. He could play the aggressive shot at 3 cushions round him behind the yellow and brown. That would open these reds up. This is dangerous. It's dangerous, but he's played it well. So the safety battle has been won by Shaun. Can he take advantage?
One.
Well, you definitely underhit that a little bit, but at least the angle he's got, he can play for blue or pink again from these. That's better. Now it's make your mind up time. Do you play for the loose red above the black, or do you try and play a little cannon? I think the loose red above the black is the one to get rid of now. And then top side of the blue and then go into them. I think it's a little bit dangerous, the angle he's got on this blue, to play any sort of cannon. That's not the best shot you've ever played, Shaun. There's a black pot somewhere?
9.
I mean, why would not want to play that off 2 cushions? I don't know. I can only presume the black must pot in the right-hand corner, but surely not. Queuing down on it, so obviously not. It was a very poor shot on the blue, but a good recovery.
10.
Oh, that's why he was trying to get straight on it, because the black, as you can see there, does pot. Doesn't look like it from the from that position, does it? But there you can see it clearly does pot. That's why I was trying to finish straight on it.
16.
So that's, I think, end of break, but he's back into the frame. And in playing this red, it means the black will be available into both corners. So the next safety battle, you'd expect the first one to get in to win the frame.
Thanks. Shaun Murphy, 16.
Excellent return of safety from Mark Williams. Shaun's just got to be careful here. There's two reds are plant towards the bottom right hand corner pocket, so may have to hit it a bit more pace than he would like. Make sure that the red comes off the cushion and back into the middle of the table. There you see how hard he's hit it. As if he had hit that anything softer, that red would have been over the right hand corner pocket, so it was a good shot. However, he may have left again a shot to nothing for Mark Williams. This red does pot. No pressure on it, but he's hit it ever so thin, and that was a bad shot. It's a very poor shot for someone of his standard.
One.
Well, under pressure, that was top draw. That was stay in the match or taxi for Murphy. Every chance now to win the frame and close to 5-3.
Eight.
Well, after such a good pot on the pink, that was a very poor positional shot. Don't know why he didn't track the black there. Could have tracked the black and still been on the pink into the right middle. Tried to get on the pink into the right corner, and he's now. This is a big shot. If he misses this, he's out of the tournament. Excellent shot. What a brave pot. Look at this.
13.
Never touched the sides. Fantastic. A lot of courage to take those shots on.
14.
12 points ahead. Black will be 19, so he's going to need that red on the right hand side cushion.
Yeah, the fact that he's right-handed, of course, makes it a little easier, but you want to be within a foot of it. You don't want to be having the white near the jaws or the middle pocket and have to play
21.
it. The closer you are to that red, the easier it is. So this is the key shot. Got to get an angle on either the pink or blue to get within a foot of that red to make the red a certainty.
Just looking at the scores there, calculating in his mind. He's 19 points ahead, so red, black and red would suffice.
$22.
Now, the black normally is an absolute certainty, but at this stage of the match, he's left himself a little bit to do, but he needs that cue ball where his hand is at least. Played it beautifully. Now the fact that he's within a foot, you see, it takes the misread out of the equation.
29.
And as it's virtually frame ball, he can just roll this in, doesn't have to play it pacey. If you're 2 foot away from this red, it's a little bit tricky. But this close, you should pot it. This is excellent. When you consider the blue he knocked in, to stay in frame and match, he probably deserved to win the frame.
$37. 39. 42. 46. 51.
Doesn't really matter, he'll probably play the exhibition shot. Around 4 cushions to try and get onto the black. I didn't quite forget. He played the jaws of this pocket, you see, to stop it for the black. Do you not know that shot, Ken? Very tough shot to know that one.
57.
I don't think only John Brigo plays those shots these days, will he?
What an excellent frame that was. An immaculate blue from Shaun Murphy earlier on in the frame to keep in frame and match. He ended up making a sizable break of 57 to get back to 5-3 behind.
Thank you. Frame 9. Mark Williams to break.
Mark Williams getting frame 9 underway, and it's getting very tense out there. Both players playing very well indeed. Shaun Murphy has to win the remaining 3 frames. He's left the shot to nothing on. There's a gap between black and red. Plain ball, he'll just about get that gap as well. Maybe a touch aside just to widen the angle a little bit.
That's the possible angle you were talking about, Willie. Excellent shot. And also held for the blue.
I think it's key in this day and age, Ken, isn't it, when you've got a chance to play a shot to nothing, at least play it to get something if you knock it in. You see so many players now hit that shot hard, get in balk, and all of a sudden, A, you've made the pot harder by playing 100 mile an hour, and B, you've got no advantage by playing it. Play a shot for something rather than a shot for nothing, which Shaun did there.
You go into the pack here, Willie. I know the pink is not as
It's
close
loose,
to those
isn't it, the
reds,
pink?
yeah.
It looks like he's going to do that. Might arc around the pink and hit the outside of the pack. He's hit the pink, needs a bit of fortune.
How's your luck?
Not great. This is very tricky. And on the cushion if you want to roll that in.
6.
I think first frame, you play this without even thinking. I think at this stage of the proceedings, it's very unlucky there as we keep an eye on this white as it goes into a place having flicked off the red that's not good. If this was first frame, I'd expect him to take it on. I don't think there's any value in taking it on at this stage of the match.
I think maybe if there was a gap up the left-hand side of the table, he may be tempted to take it on, but the fact that there's two reds close to the cushion, they're sort of in the way, in the line of the path up the left-hand side of the table, so just a safety off this one, close to the middle pocket, half ball, try and get the white behind the green on the ball cushion as close as possible.
Shaun Murphy, 6.
Not bad.
Cued it very well. He needs a bit of help from this red, though. And he got it. That could have gone anywhere, that red, once he missed it, but he cued it really nicely. He played a deep screw at the last shot. The deep screw's on here, but surely he's not going to attempt this one. If he runs through, if he gets close to the pot, he'll miss the kiss on the red on the cushion, but if you hit it slightly thicker, you cannon into it, so he's got to be looking for a safety shot this time. See, there's the angle now. He's coming very close to the red that's just about in the picture on the left. But he's got to miss that kiss on that red. Well, you can't cue better than that.
1.
You can't cue better than that. That was fraught with danger, playing the cue ball in a position where he felt that he could get away with it. Hit it absolutely perfectly.
Yes, definitely earned his reputation as one of the best cueists in the game at the moment, Shaun Murphy.
I think that was as good, if not better, than the blue in the previous frame, Ken, wasn't it, that shot? I suppose the only difference was the blue was to stay in the match. That necessarily wasn't. He was trying to get a good white there in case he missed it, but once it's gone in, you deserve to score heavily from a shot like that.
Yes, he's got the red into the right centre. Now, anywhere around where that white ball is, as I've just put in, somewhere just there would be perfect to get on the black. Wants to be low enough wants to be low enough. Let's see. Oh, just about. Dennis Taylor, eat your heart out.
Oh dear. Every squirrel finds an acorn now and again, Ken. That was perfect, my friend. Well played.
Yes, 11. When he pots this red, possibly, well, he could play also for pink and maybe try and take the pink out of the way because it's slightly in the way. Well, he didn't want
12.
to do it there, but certainly down the road he'd probably try and get that pink out of the way of the black. Excellent opportunity though. Red's in perfect positions here. Almost like a bit of a practice session. Well, if you're
19.
having a practice in the club, you put the reds something similar to the way they are now. Certainly this is no practice session. A lot of pressure out there.
You called the shot, Ken, about the pink, and unless the pink will pass the black in both corners, I actually think he should have moved
20.
the pink when he did. But only reason being because he's got to keep continually finishing low on the black, and eventually, if you finish too low, it's tough to hold the black sometimes. The pink just does go, so that's probably the reason he didn't take the pink at the time we thought he might have done. So even now he's got slightly the wrong angle, and there's no real kiss on where he can guarantee getting onto a red. So he's going to have to try and hold the black.
Yes, that's why I said if he takes the pink, it just opens things up slightly for him, makes things an awful lot easier for himself.
That was excellent. There wasn't a lot of room there, as you saw there. He could only see half all of the red, and he had to do it to slow
27.
the cue ball down. But the pink's causing the problems. Once that pink's in play, i.e. on its spot, there's another 4 reds that pot.
$28.
He's got choice of pink or black here, and you can see he knows the pink's causing all the problems. The black's potable as well, but he knows that he's bringing other reds into play by just moving that pink in back onto its own spot. He's slightly overrun that. I think that flew a little bit. He played for choice of 2 reds, and he's finished bang in the middle of both of them. Not perfect on either. The one to the right of the pack, if he plays it slow, he'll just flick off the reds and possibly get on the black, but it could go wrong. The one with the rest is the guaranteed position shot.
34.
Now, do you play across the face of the pack for the black, or do you screw back for the blue? Only Shaun can decide on which is the better shot to play. Played for the black and played it nicely. This is a chance now 35. To win the frame.
$42. $43.
So he's just a couple of reds and colours away from getting right back into the match at 5-4. Mark won't be too concerned yet, because every time he's got his hand on the table, he's scored quite heavily himself.
50.
This is just what you'd expect from 2 former world champions, the standard of this match has been very good.
51.
Yes, black puts him 64.
58.
Ahead, so one more red and black should be enough. Close the gap once again.
59.
This is a fantastic reply from Shaun Murphy. 1 or 2 shots away in the previous frame from being out of the tournament. Sound of applause. They recognise
66.
It's beyond the point of no return for Mark Williams in this frame.
67.
Yeah, break of 57 in the previous frame from behind. This 67 has been a little better.
$74.
Yes, when you're 5-2 behind, you have to play no miss snooker, and that's what Shaun's done in the last 2 frames. Played a lot of very, very good pots. The blue in the previous frame, the long red to screw back to make this break, is up there with the best shot we've seen in this championship so far.
Yes, he's
82.
already made a 100 break in frame 6.
83.
Quite difficult to make another one here. He's got to get on this red just below the black. Puts him to 89, so he's going to need
89.
the red as close to the middle pocket as well to make the century. It's been a fantastic break.
90.
And a great response from Shaun Murphy. May try and take the red out, in and out of balk. May try and leave the double.
It's just enough room, isn't there? There's enough room between green and brown, but it's just a case of getting the side right. Well, I couldn't get it that side of the brown.
Well, he's played for the double after all.
You can definitely have evens a double.
97.
Just not far enough with the white. Attention, all pockets here. Oops.
97.
Good effort, but a fantastic break of 97. Closes the gap once again for Shaun Murphy. But it's Mark Williams who still leads 5 frames to 4.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Frame 10. Shaun Murphy to break.
Well, half an hour ago, Shaun Murphy was close to being on his way home, but breaks of 57 and 97 under the utmost pressure. He's still in this match and very much in it. Mark Williams not really too concerned, really, because he's not had a great chance in the last couple of frames. He's had a couple of half chances. Do you think he's worried? Excellent pot. But a good cannon needed. He's just gone too low on this black to make it easy. What a red this was. Fantastic. Needs a good cannon. Not a great cannon, but it's okay. He can go around the back of the black. And if he gets on the black nicely, a chance to get a 40 or 50 point lead.
Yes, and what a great pot that was on the black, Willie.
9.
Another good, excellent shot with the rest. As you said, 5 reds still available before he has to even contemplate about going into the pack. Well, just as I say that, that's careless.
16.
Very short. Wanted to be another 3 or 4 inches up higher. And I just don't think he has the angle here.
It's the only way the break could go wrong, wasn't it, finishing short? I mean, he got 2 foot, he could have finished in there and been perfect. Luckily for Mark, that red's up there because he wasn't guaranteed to get a position there, and he still hasn't. Blue's favourite. He can play this in such a way, he can play the slow holding shot here, cover the pocket should he miss it, but he won't be thinking about missing it, obviously, but you don't have to play this pacey. Play it at a weight, knowing that it gives the pocket every chance, and also that there's still a choice of 2 reds.
22. 23.
Again now, imperative that he finishes high on the red, just above the black. Could play for a choice of 2 reds here, but that would be his first choice. Now, needs a kiss here. Well, he's a little bit fortunate there.
30.
There's the red into the middle. And certainly didn't play it like that.
We've seen 3 unbelievable shots in the last 3 frames. The blue from Murphy, and then the long red from Murphy in the last frame, and the long red from Mark Williams here, having been sat out for the last 2 frames, was absolutely top draw. It really was. This frees another red. This was the opening red.
38.
We'll get a chance to show you after this red the red he got into open. You'd have been quite pleased with
39.
the break off, Shaun Murphy. Look, the break off tight under the cushion. How do you pot those? Should be locked up.
Just wanted to be a little bit lower.
46.
He's a little bit too straight on this red, so he's not going to be able to disturb any of the pack with this. So finish low on the black.
47.
Now needs a lot of power. This shot could determine whether Mark Williams goes into the next round, the semi-final. Oh, bad shot. Didn't hit it with any conviction whatsoever.
54.
Okay, he has a red to the middle, but could have played it with an awful lot more pace than that. Oh, good
55.
shot. Well, I think gravity just took that red in there, Willie.
That was a fabulous shot. One more shot away. The outside red pots. And that's floor off the cushion again.
62.
Shaun Murphy can only hope that he gets one more chance. If Mark gets on a colour from this red, I doubt whether he will. It's all on this shot.
63.
Does that red cover the black? I think the black still pots. If the black pots... Oh dear, it's just... slow, he can pot it. And it's one of those, in fairness, he could play as slow as possible and he'll cover the pocket if he misses it. I think he's got to have to play it. Well, Mark, he's trying to make up his mind up whether there's any value in playing absolutely dead weight. I don't think he can leave the white near the cushion, but he can probably leave it about 5 or 6 inches off the cushion, which means this red will still be on. The harder he plays this, if he kisses the other red, that's the only problem. If he plays it, he's got to rely on hitting it thin.
Yes, if he could just drop the black in, and if the black just even stays in the pocket, he could play it as a shot to nothing, leave the white somewhere where just put it in there. Yeah, anywhere there. Drop the black in. Even if he misses it, it will stay in the jaws of the pocket. But very, very dangerous. Has a 63-point lead. maybe worth even putting a colour safe here, will he?
Yeah, I was going to say, if he feels it is a bit tight, he's entitled just to, put the green out of play, maybe even the blue out of play.
I think probably the green is the best option. Put the green on the right-hand side cushion. Shaun Murphy being a right-hander, that will not help his cause.
If you play this directly beyond it with your cue, you can definitely pot it off the jaw, but the problem is the angle is coming in at it. I mean, the black definitely goes, but only off that left-hand jaw. It doesn't go in the centre of the pocket. So if he was 2 inches further down with the white, the black would be a certainty. It's just the angle he's got that's making it missable.
I think green is a shot, Willie. Green on the cushion. White tight to the ball cushion.
This is Hawkeye's view. You can see there, look, you see? You could see the centre of the pocket. It wasn't quite as easy as Hawkeye just made it play.
Hawkeye never missed the ball, does he?
See, I don't blame him if he wants to play the black slow, but the only thing is you haven't got to kiss the red. If you're going to miss the black, make sure you don't kiss the red on the way, because then you can play it as a shot to nothing.
Yes, he's looking at the yellow, but I don't think the yellow is a shot. If you put the yellow safe, you'd be putting it on the side that, for a right-hander, it's not really out of commission, but the green would be much, much better. Even if he leaves Shaun a shot at these reds, that's okay, but get that green in the middle of the right-hand side cushion.
Mark
and
Williams,
that's a bad shot.
63.
Okay, he's got the snooker. Maybe not even the snooker, but that's not great. Okay, Shaun is still in a lot of trouble here. But I think I would have preferred to have that green tight to that right-hand side cushion.
Well, Mark Williams was just a fraction of an inch away from being in the semi-final there. This is what this game is all about, fractions. Just trying to rest on this red. In fairness, he's played it too well. It's quite easy now to play the thin shot to return. I suppose it's better than leaving touching ball, though, which would have made the safety shot a lot easier. If it misses the yellow, Shaun's in trouble. There's a gap in between brown and yellow that he can just get to the two reds below the pink. But I think playing ball, he'll hit the red too thick. He may have to play this with a little bit of right-hand side, just to make sure he airs on the thin side of this. Doesn't want to catch this half ball. Needs to hit it quarter ball or thinner. He's got a fluke. Can you believe it?
One.
The only good thing for Mark Williams is the cue ball carried on rolling and rolling, and this yellow is one of those. Do I play to pot it and win the frame one visit, or do I play safe? Can you play the yellow?
It's a 50-50 one. I think if he plays the yellow, he's bound to be on a red. If he plays the snooker, Mark Williams could get out of it and he may not get another chance. He has played the blue, which is probably even more difficult than this yellow a couple of frames ago to stay in the match.
Yeah, he's looking at the thin shot off the yellow. As long as you don't put the yellow anywhere near a cushion, just play thin off it, and if you get the white tight on the cushion.
I definitely think there's value in playing the yellow. If not, he could even just roll up to the yellow because he has the brown there as cover as well.
I'd rather have the cue ball on the cushion, Ken, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know. I think maybe worth to go. The only problem is about the yellow is that you're playing into a blind pocket. That's they're always very, very difficult shots.
Looks like he's playing the brown. Is he playing the pot or the safety? Well, he's decided he's going to attempt this long red now. There's no value in taking the brown at all if you're going to play a safety shot, so he's definitely going to take this red on. He can swing it round two cushions to be on the blue in the left-hand middle. He'll definitely be playing it pacey to get out to blue or bought colour. That could be the end.
Shaun Murphy, 5.
He's not left him hampered, surely. He has. The green's come to his rescue to make the red in the middle a certainty. And he needs the red, really, to go 59 in front.
I think he's got to play the red in the middle, surely. He can play it as a shot to nothing. Just playing ball, no side.
I suppose he could also play the one that's nearest the pink spot through the gap and round into baulk, but this is definitely the easiest. Shaun was a bit fortunate here to leave this hampered. He's not fortunate if the red goes in.
Oh, would you believe it? Would you believe it? Never ceases to amaze me, this game, will he? But for the green there, this frame and match would have been over. Shaun Murphy has been thrown a lifeline.
And where the balls are, he's favourite to win this frame.
And how important will that shot on the green be? He didn't put it safe. He left it in the middle of the table.
He's just got to finish straight on the left-hand two of the other reds and just roll through for the black. That's what he's got to try and do here, and if he gets that nicely enough. Needs to be straight, though, so he doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball. He's overhit that. That's a bit of tension in the arm there. He's overhit that by 3 or 4 inches. May have to play for the blue now around the 2 cushions. Make sure you go top side of the blue, though, otherwise there's a lot of work to do.
Played it well.
That's okay. They can stun this red in and go across the other side of the black and take this black into the same pocket as this red. That's the red closest to the white. Just checking that red beside the black spot. Well, he's taking the other red. Maybe because if he pots the black, it will tie up the red and the black. So taking a more difficult red.
13.
That's the only thing I can think is a problem if the black maybe not on its spot. Because he's got to play the other red to go across for the black if the black's really available, because he's still got a little bit of work to do now. Well, that's a great shot. Just 2 inches away from being a straightforward red. This is a little bit of angle on it, but any sort of angle on the black now he can get onto that last red. The green is the only thing I think can save Mark Williams here.
20.
Well, he's underhit that. What a game this is.
$27.
Everything's difficult at this stage of the match. Everything's difficult at this stage of the match. Has he got away
Shaun
with it
Murphy,
again?
27. Thank you.
This is swervable, but if you can see it, it's no problem. He can see it. The red for frame and match. Well, it's been an excellent game. Shaun Murphy came very, very close there to level at 5-5. The fact that 2 snookers are required, he will definitely take the blue on and try and get on the yellow too. Doesn't want to be spending any more time out in the auditorium this evening. And that, without doubt, seals everything. Shaun will probably carry on as it's the last frame of the night.
6.
Needs 3 snookers on the yellow.
Mark Williams, 6.
So, barring snookers, we've had a very, very good match from 2 former world champions, but Mark Williams comes out the victor by 6 frames to 4. Well, he's got the first snooker. There's room around the back of the yellow, of course, but very tough to win, needing 3. Good shot. Does know his way around the table, Mark Williams. If you're going to get him snookered, you've got to be tight up behind a ball to make him go for at least 3 cushions. Very rarely misses snookers, Mark Williams. That's 3 on the trot, I think. Oh no, there's a gap this time, I think. Shaun Murphy deciding whether it's worth carrying on or not.
Mark Williams, 2.
And he has conceded. It has been a great match by these 2 former world champions. We've had some high-quality snooker, but the Welshman Mark Williams is back in business. He goes into a semi-final for the first time for a while, winning by 6 frames to 4. For our Red Button viewers, you've seen some matches here this week. The standard has been superb. We're on again at 1:30 tomorrow.